getting into stage 3 of the NYC Showdown. As you can see from the intro, it didn't go exactly as planned in a couple of places, but overall, this was a great ride and I got in the top 10. Let's break it down. All right, so we start off this last stage, stage number 3, and my goal is just to stay with the front group. Sorry for a second here, it glitches a little bit on the video. It resolves itself here in a little bit. But I'm just trying to stay up with the group until we get to the Brooklyn Bridge. Once we get to the Brooklyn Bridge, it's a little kicker for 1.5 miles with an average gradient of about 1.7 and a maximum gradient of 5.3%. So it's enough to where if you're not paying attention, you're going to get dropped. On the start of the climb of the Brooklyn Bridge, I made my way up to the front. This is exactly where I wanted to be, but I didn't want to burn myself out on this climb, so I had to be very careful and conservative. Unfortunately, I was a little bit too conservative. As you can see, the group starts to string out and starts to pull away from me, and now I'm making surges way too high in my power to try to keep up with them and gain some spots, and this is not where I wanted to be in this part of the race. After briefly going downhill and catching up a couple more positions, I start the next really short climb in 36th. I have this chase group right here that I'm joining, and I'm realizing I don't think I'm catching up to the main group. Now here I'm realizing, you know what, the group in front of me isn't too far off, and I turn on my chat settings so that I can start telling everyone to do some hard pulls. I believe we can chase back the front group, and so I do a couple of hard pulls and encourage others to do the same, and I get some responses and everyone's like, no way, man, I'm saving it for the climb. That was the responses I was getting. There were 2 hard climbs coming up and no one wanted to catch the front group. I did. The front group was probably about 40 seconds to a minute ahead of us. I didn't think that was too far away, but now was the time to make up ground, but no one wanted to help out. So here we come out of the subway system and we're getting to the bottom of the climb, and I knew I had to put down the power. Then this happens.
Oh, crap. No. Z button. Why? Shoot.
That's right. I activated my feather on accident. I was trying to save it for the KOM reverse that was coming up. Again, just a couple corners up here, I'll be at the foot of that first big climb. It's about 0.8 miles long with an average gradient of 5.9%, and the most difficult part of the climb gets up to 13.1% just before you reach the top. And that's where I wanted to use my feathers so that I could, hopefully make up some spots and get a little bit closer to the front group. Right here is where the KOM actually starts. And technically, I started the climb at the bottom of the hill in 24th position, and I'm in 26th right now. So I'm doing all that I can and putting in some good power without burning myself out to try to gain as many positions as I can at the top of this KOM. Unfortunately, by the time I get to the top and I get to the banner, I've only made up a couple of spots. Though I'm not a good climber, I am a good descender because of my weight, and I get down to about 18th position. That's pretty good. Making up a few spots, finding a chase group, and doing my best to latch on. That was good. Now I can get some draft, I can get some rest, and get my heart rate down below 160. Here's the last big climb. This is the KOM forward, and I know I need to make up some spots. I need to stay up with this group at the least, but I cannot drop back. I'm in 12th, and I want to stay around that position. So I'm working pretty hard, getting up sometimes above 4 watts per kilogram in order to stay with the group. I make it to the top of the climb, and I'm hoping that by my fast descending, I can make up a few more spots and get closer to top 10. By the time I get to the bottom, I see that there's a group of 3 that I can catch up to and get in the draft with, and get a little breather before my last trick. Now I want to slow this part down because I've got one last trick up my sleeve. In order to explain what I did here, I need to tell you a quick story about Kristen Faulkner, who was the United States gold medalist in the 2024 Paris Olympics for the road race. She was a rower before she ever became a cyclist, and was pretty good, and her goal was to go to the Olympics. However, life took a turn and she became a cyclist. There was a strategy she used in rowing that she translated over to cycling. It went like this. She would do 10 hard rows in the middle of a race or a training session in order to throw off her opponent's pace and get more momentum forward. She translated that over to cycling by doing 10 hard seconds of pedaling. Then she'd recover and do it again. And she applied that in the road race in the Paris Olympics. She talks about how she took off and would do 10 hard seconds, recover quickly, 10 hard seconds, recover quickly, and she applied that and won the gold medal. Here, we were just about to come out of the subway. I knew there was an escalator coming up, and it throws everybody off. I decided to add Kristen Faulkner's strategy. I was going to do a hard push up this escalator to get a little jump on everybody, use their draft to do so in the beginning, and then at the top, I was going to count 10 hard seconds and pedal as hard as I could. So here I am, getting closer and closer to the escalator. I can see it just up ahead, and I've got the draft. I'm counting, I'm in 13th place, so 12th, 11th, and 10th are ahead of me, and I decide to use their draft to get into 10th place. There I go up the escalator. I'm pushing hard, getting over 4 watts per kilogram, using my feather, and then at the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 hard seconds, and I'm about 3 seconds ahead of them. It worked. And matter of fact, I rode so hard there at the top, and they kind of just gave up knowing they couldn't reach me. So that lead continues to grow, and soon I'm 6, 7, 8, 9 seconds ahead. Now I'm just focused on 9th place ahead of me, hoping to see if I can catch up to them. By this time I realized I wasn't going to catch up to 9th place, and I was just happy and satisfied to be in 10th. The group behind me starts sprinting, and I sprint a little bit just to make sure they're not going to catch me right at the line. I end up keeping the buffer of about 9 seconds
Hold
all
on.
the way to the finish line and
10th
getting
place.
10th.
Yes. My legs are burning.
And there you have it, 10th place. I'm pretty happy with that. That gave me a rank of 826 out of 19,018 riders. That's pretty good. It brought my racing score up to 300. All 3 of these stages were well done, so much fun. It had their set of challenges. I did my best, and ultimately, I'm pretty proud of how I did on this race. That's it for the NYC Showdown. You have a good day. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe.